one promise, one dramatic exit, and now one quiet return that changes everything. Because Meghan Markle didn't just come back to Britain, Meghan Markle came back after swearing Meghan Markle never would. And the question tearing through every corner of this story isn't just why, it's what went so wrong that Meghan Markle had to break Meghan Markle's own rules.
I have a horrible feeling that we're seeing a breakdown in plain sight. I just, the movements, the way they move, the way they talk is so erratic.
Meghan back on royal property.
Yeah, no one is as horrified as I am. I am curious to know your take here. There's two ways we can look at this, okay? I look at it appalled, because I feel like, in a way, it's giving Harry and Meghan exactly what they want. Credibility. It erases the hurt that they've caused over the last 6 years. They've not said I'm sorry publicly.
Harry and Meghan are desperate. They are trying to retrieve their situation sufficiently so that they will become bankable once more.
And you didn't prove your case. You had the opportunity to prove your case. You failed to do so. That's how the legal system works. Yes, no, he's never seen a situation in which he is not the victim, and he enjoys being the victim.
The fact is, they can pop in and have tea. I hope they had Highgrove jam, which is far better than the Meghan slop that she calls spread. I got to taste what real produce tastes like from the Highgrove shop.
The contradiction hits immediately. Meghan Markle built an entire narrative around never returning without apology, without protection, without control. Meghan Markle turned that stance into identity. And then suddenly, without warning, Meghan Markle slips back into the United Kingdom like none of that ever happened. No cameras, no grand entrance, no declaration, just silence. And silence in stories like this is never empty, it's loaded. Because within hours, that private visit wasn't private at all. It exploded. Every outlet, every headline, every platform. Meghan Markle's quiet arrival became global noise almost instantly. And that's where the pattern begins to form, because when something is that controlled, that precise, and that perfectly timed, it doesn't just happen.
What she said is exactly right. It's a complete breakdown of the marriage, of Harry's mental stability. Like, nothing's working out for them. How can it? I mean, you just have ulterior motives to do things that you want, and you're not getting it, and so you're losing your minds. Your lives are completely falling apart. It's going to get worse and worse. The more they try to brand and get out there to do all these different things to make money, the worse it's going to get. They're a complete disaster.
That's the contradiction no one can ignore. If everything was working, Meghan Markle wouldn't be here. If the deals were thriving, if the projects were real, if the empire was stable, Meghan Markle would be too busy building Meghan Markle's future to revisit Meghan Markle's past. But instead, Meghan Markle is back, and not triumphantly, quietly, and then the detail that shifts everything, the private visit that somehow became public faster than anyone could explain. Who leaked it? The palace denies it. The Sussexes deny it. But denial in this world is almost a script, because we've seen this exact play before.
Meghan returning to the UK, the country she claims she hates, is a sign of defeat. And it is a sign that they are desperate, and they do need money, and they do need proximity to the British royal family so that they can try to attract new opportunities.
That's really true. So on the one hand, they've won because they're back on royal property. On the other hand, it's a mission of defeat that she tried to go it alone and be Meghan Inc., and it didn't work.
She would not be here if everything had... If she still had to record Confessions of a Female Founder, if she had a new season of With Love Meghan to shoot, if she was actually working on Meet Me at the Lake, The Wedding Date, or this new Afghanistan movie, Meghan Markle would not have the time to come crawling back to King Charles and Queen Camilla.
A private meeting announced globally. A contradiction so obvious it almost feels deliberate. Because when something is staged to look accidental, it usually isn't accidental at all. And suddenly the question isn't who leaked it, the question is who needed it leaked.
This will be a private moment from the firm's point of view, but it might not be so private for Meghan and Harry. You just have to worry that this could be more material for another Netflix documentary or a future book.
Well, yes, that you've always got that sort of hanging over the royal family's head, because if it was a frosty meeting, you don't know.
The pattern repeats. The same structure, the same outcome. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry connected to a story, then distancing from it, then blaming the palace. It's not new, it's familiar. And familiarity in situations like this starts to look like intention.
It's also been conditional, evidently, on no publicity, no, blah, 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 no leaking. Let's put it like that, no leaking. The last time there was leaking, they have evidently been informed that there can be no leaks, and if there are leaks, there will be consequences. And Harry and Meghan understand that they need the facade of reasonably good relations with the king and queen.
But none of it makes sense, not fully, until you rewind exactly 1 week. Because this isn't just about Meghan Markle returning, this is about what happened before Meghan Markle returned. And that's where Prince Harry enters the picture in a way that changes everything. Because 7 days earlier, everything collapsed.
We know from Charlotte Griffiths, and an amazing piece in the Daily Mail, victory lap for Charlotte Griffiths, by the way, saying, of course, that she was briefed by the Sussexes and their PR people that the balcony moment and the build-up to the Clarence House face-to-face summit, it goes in the paper, which is what the Sussexes want, and then they performatively complain and blame the palace for a story that they've planted themselves.
A courtroom, a case that Prince Harry had built for years, a narrative Prince Harry believed in, a fight Prince Harry framed as justice. And then the judgment lands, not quietly, not vaguely, decisively 400 pages that didn't just reject the claims, they dismantled them.
Do not lose sight of the fact that this has been a catastrophic week for the Sussexes. My take on it is, if Harry had have won, would he have pushed as hard for a reconciliation with his father? Think about that. If you'd have got 50 million rather than losing 50 million, and it's not that much, but you know, that's the speculation, but it's actually a lot less than that, but just place that in your mind. Would Harry have been so keen?
Assumptions, not evidence. That's what the judge said. And in that moment, the entire foundation of Prince Harry's battle shifted from strength to exposure, because losing the case wasn't just about reputation. It was about consequence, massive consequence. 50 million pounds. That number doesn't just echo, it crushes. Because in Britain, losing doesn't just mean losing. It means paying. And suddenly, Prince Harry isn't just dealing with defeat. Prince Harry is dealing with a financial shock that changes everything. And then comes the detail that reveals desperation. The attempt to settle quietly at the last moment. Prince Harry trying to stop the fall before it fully hits. But the other side refuses. They wanted the fight. They wanted the outcome. And they got it. And what does Prince Harry do next? Not silence. Not reflection. Prince Harry responds publicly, calls the verdict a whitewash, attacks the system. And in doing that, Prince Harry doesn't just challenge the outcome, Prince Harry challenges the institution itself. That's not small. That's not forgettable. That's the kind of move that lingers. And 3 days later, tea is served. Not reconciliation. Not forgiveness. Tea, because in royal language, tea isn't warmth. Tea is distance disguised as civility. Tea is controlled, limited, measured, and that's exactly what this meeting was. A visit that lasted less than an hour after an 11-hour flight. That detail alone says everything, because if this was about connection, it wouldn't be rushed. But this wasn't about connection. This was about containment. Phones taken, devices checked, every movement controlled. Prince Harry treated not like family, but like risk. That's not emotion, that's protocol. And protocol doesn't appear without reason. And then the moment that shifts the power completely, Prince Harry goes in alone. Meghan Markle waits outside, not leading, not controlling. Waiting, that's not just unusual, that's revealing. Because for someone known to command every space, being left outside the room isn't accidental. It's deliberate, it's structured, it's a message. And inside that room, Queen Camilla doesn't leave, not for a second. Watching, present, unmovable A, silent signal that this wasn't just a meeting, this was a line being held. Everything about this visit feels controlled, measured, tested, because that's exactly what it was. A test, because once you step back and connect every piece, the pattern stops looking emotional and starts looking strategic. Meghan Markle doesn't just return without reason. Meghan Markle returns when the pressure becomes unavoidable. And that pressure didn't come from headlines, it came from collapse. Because while Meghan Markle was stepping quietly onto British soil, another story was unfolding thousands of miles away. A man watching, waiting, not invited, not acknowledged. And that man's name has been sitting at the center of this entire narrative, ignored for years, yet impossible to remove. Thomas Markle. And the contrast here is brutal. Meghan Markle flew 11 hours to sit with King Charles. Meghan Markle crossed continents for that meeting, but Thomas Markle remains untouched. Unvisited, unseen, that imbalance doesn't whisper, it screams. Because Thomas Markle isn't just a side note. Thomas Markle is the foundation, the one who paid, the one who supported, the one who built the path long before the palace ever existed in this story. And now Thomas Markle exists in isolation while Meghan Markle moves through royal gates again. That's not just distance, that's a decision. And people notice decisions like that. They measure them, they question them. Because if this return was about family, then why isn't it consistent? Why is one family connection worth crossing oceans while another remains ignored just a short flight away? That contradiction doesn't disappear, it grows. And while that question lingers, another tension is building inside the palace itself. Because this wasn't a unified moment. It wasn't a family reunion in the traditional sense. It was fragmented, divided, controlled. Prince William didn't welcome it. Prince William didn't participate. In fact, Prince William reportedly learned about this meeting the same way the public did after it was already happening. That detail alone changes the entire tone. Because when a future king is blindsided, that's not just miscommunication, that's fracture. And the fracture runs deeper than just this moment. It carries history, word said, lines crossed, trust broken. Prince William has reasons, real reasons, to hold distance. And distance in this environment becomes power. Because if Prince William refuses to engage, the path forward narrows. It tightens. It forces everything back into controlled spaces like Highgrove short meetings, measured conversations, limited access. And then there's the shadow that hangs over all of this. The rule that once defined everything. Queen Elizabeth made it clear. No half in, half out. A line drawn in absolute terms. And now, suddenly, that line looks blurred. Softened, bent, and that creates something dangerous not just inside the family, but across the entire structure. Because when rules shift without explanation, stability starts to feel uncertain, and people feel that uncertainty. They react to it, they question it, some even turn away from it, because what this week exposed isn't just tension, it's contradiction at the highest level. A family trying to protect itself while also reopening doors. A system trying to hold boundaries while also testing them. And that's where the story takes another turn, because this isn't just about what happened. It's about what might happen next. There are whispers already. Balmoral, Sandringham, Christmas, names tied to traditions that define the monarchy itself. But those whispers come with conditions. If Meghan Markle and Prince Harry appear, Prince William and Princess Catherine may not. Think about that. A royal Christmas without the future king. That's not just awkward. That's historic, and not in a good way. Because every decision from this point forward becomes a signal. Who shows up? Who stays away? Who speaks? Who remains silent? And silence once again becomes the loudest clue of all. Because remember the warning tied to that Highgrove meeting. One leak and everything changes. One detail out of place and the door closes completely. And here's the tension no one can ignore in 6 years. Secrets haven't stayed secret. Not once, not fully. So now the clock is ticking, because this isn't just a visit. This isn't just a meeting. This is a test of restraint, of control, of survival inside a system that doesn't forgive easily. One wrong move and the distance becomes permanent. One more headline and the door doesn't just close, it locks. And somewhere in all of this, between the silence and the strategy, between the return and the rejection, one question refuses to go away. Did Meghan Markle and Prince Harry come back to rebuild something, or did Meghan Markle and Prince Harry come back because there was nowhere else left to go?